thank you for listening to Dezan, Shira and Associates podcasts. These podcasts provide insight into policies, trends, and regulations currently affecting foreign investors doing business in Asia. My name is Cameron Hayes, International Business Advisory Associate in our Guangzhou office.
And my name is Fabian Knopf, Senior Associate with International Business Advisory Services in our Shenzhen office.
Since March 1st, China has been operating under a new company law which is designed to make things easier for businesses. This has been a key for the central government as China continues to be one of the more difficult countries for foreign companies to establish a business. In the 2013 World Bank Ease of Doing Business rankings, China actually fell 5 spots in the setting up a business category, so this is something that they definitely want to focus on going forward. So can you tell us what were the main changes to the company law?
So the main changes here has been the removal of registered capital requirements for company establishments. Another one has been the replacement of paid-up capital registration system with the subscribed capital registration. There's also been a removal of the minimum cash contribution requirements. And the last thing is the replacement of the annual inspection system with an annual reporting system.
First of all, Fabian, what were the previous registered capital requirements for company establishment?
So according to the company law, it used to be that for limited liability companies, it used to be 30,000 renminbi. For single shareholder companies, it used to be 100,000 renminbi. And for joint stock companies, it used to be 500,000 renminbi.
Does this removal of capital requirement apply to all different industries and company structures?
No, so the company law only provided the baseline of capital requirements for Chinese registered companies. Individual industries still provide their own capital requirements according to the business activities of companies. So for example, for logistics companies, there's a requirement of 5 million renminbi for those companies, and for every additional branch, another 500,000 renminbi for that branch.
Okay, so another big change to the new company law was with regards to the capital registration system. What exactly was changed?
So the major change has been here that the former paid-up capital registration system has been replaced with a subscribed capital registration system. And the main difference here is really that there is more freedom for the investor within their articles of association to determine the amount of capital that is required to carry out their business activities, the schedule of injecting and contributing that capital.
Just to clarify, what were the previous requirements under the paid-up registration system?
Right, so the previous requirements have been that within 2 years, 100% of that registered capital has to be contributed, and 2 years is being counted from the issuance of the business license. Within 90 days from that date, however, 15 to 20% have to be contributed according to the Articles of Association. Under the new system now, investors have more freedom within the Articles of Association to determine the schedule of contribution. These Articles of Association still have to be approved by the relevant authorities, so it is somewhat likely to see that the approval authorities will stick to their familiar patterns for a while and then hopefully accept and approve wider ranges that deviate a bit more from the old system that was in place. Another part has been the removal of the verified capital registration system, where when foreign currency was used for capital contribution, which was in most cases really, this system is being removed now as well when investors contribute foreign currency into their entity in China.
And what was the verification process?
The verification process is essentially a statutory auditor in China approving and confirming the amount of capital that has been transmitted from the investor's bank account into their newly set up bank account here for their company in China. And then that auditor would issue a report to the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, the foreign exchange regulator in China, and they would then signal to the banks that they could release this capital for the company's own use.
Have we been able to see so far whether these changes, which seemingly should make things easier, have we seen things actually become easier in practice so far here in South China?
No, unfortunately not. We haven't seen the implementation of this new law in South China yet, so we will have to wait for it a little bit longer. We're obviously confident that this will happen over time, but we're also experienced that this take a few more months for authorities to adapt.
The next change was the removal of the cash requirement for capital, which is also something that's quite important. So what does this mean for our clients and for other investors in China?
Well, previously there was a minimum cash contribution of 30% of the registered capital. This could mean now that the cash contribution could be significantly lower, so there's more room for in-kind contributions such as capital goods or intangibles such as IP, for example. Again, the Articles of Association of this company can define the contribution type for registered capital, and that also has to be approved by the registration authorities. The fact that the minimum cash requirement has been removed shouldn't signal to investors that they don't need as much cash when entering China, because there are quite a lot of initial setup costs that need to be taken care of. The era of cheap China is certainly over.
To wrap things up, the last major change that we will be talking about is the change from an annual inspection system to an annual reporting system. So what is this change?
Well, it's somewhat difficult to tell right now what it is. I mean, in a lot of cases it looks more like a change in name than a change in much of a procedure. It's somewhat being used to promote the online reporting system that has been in place, for example, in cities like Shanghai, and is being rolled out into other cities across the country as well, where it literally is, the uploading of company documents that have previously been reported directly to the relevant authorities in physical locations. There's a few cities still outstanding that have not issued any regulations and administrative procedures on how the annual inspection is supposed to be done. In Dongguan here in southern China is an example for that. It's mid-June and the regular reporting deadline is June 30th. So there's a bit of time pressure here really for most companies, but with the authorities not having issued anything, it's a bit of a waiting game.
Thank you everyone for listening to Dezan, Shira & Associates podcast. Today's podcast was covering China's new company law. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact Fabian on our Shenzhen and Guangzhou offices at fabian.knopf@dezshira.com. To get further news and podcasts related to doing business in China, please also visit our website at www.chinabriefing.com.